to Arizona State.
Rod.
I'm a Sun Devil, man.
The 27-yard line. That's a great call, too. Blake Baker, Funnel will put it up, throws over the middle. Touchdown. Quick flag.
That's a way. Trying to center off with Eckerly, and he just missed the net. O'Reilly with the shot. Far down, he scored.
Come from behind for a month. Now with the lead, they're getting a little wobbly. Philadelphia, they won't get him. Wow.
Edwards pulls up and buries a flag. Richardson tries, out for Robbie Ryan. Her three right on the money.
Daniels takes his shot for Derby.
What is up, my Pitchfork Lunch peep? I am Michael Caratanudo at Diablo00 on the good old X. You guys know this. You guys definitely know this, as we're having a little studio. Okay, well, let's try and change this up a little bit. Anyway, welcome into Pitchfork Lunch. I am Michael Caratanudo at Diablo00 on X, the artist formerly known as the Twitter. As you guys all know, yes, you do. Oops, that was not smooth. As artist formerly known as the Twitter. See the show live there every day, Monday through Friday, 12 to 1. Also, you can check it out on my IG, as you guys all know, which is michael.caratonudo.5. Yes, you guys do know that. You can check it out there. Also, the YouTube channel, guys, subscribe to the YouTube channel because you can watch live on YouTube, which I definitely encourage you to do. Yeah, I definitely encourage you to do. But if you obviously can't watch live, you can subscribe to the YouTube and get caught up because it has all the con reviews there that we've talked to, coaches, players, alum, voices, analysts, everything is there, friends of the program and that are coming back on. So again, happy Wednesday, happy 5th day of March, which is a phenomenal day. And feel free to leave any comments you would like. Hit me up in the comments section, but March 5th is a phenomenal day. 5 is a great number. But nonetheless, happy March 5th. But yes, go to the YouTube channel and subscribe. And all you have to do is go to YouTube. You see my name, Michael Caratonudo, but it's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Champ, 005, at MVC005 on YouTube, and subscribe. Because, again, anything you miss, and you're going to miss something awesome in a few minutes because, Sun Devils are national champs in swimming, as we know. And but they are national champs. Women's won their first ever swim and dive national champs. And the man that is an alum, another alum coach, which I mentioned at the beginning of the fall season, or when we kicked off the show, but obviously with fall sports, a man that took over, mentioned it last April when he got hired. Coach Bowman went to the University of Texas, as we all said, and I thought he might go with him, and he posted something. We'll get to that, but Herbie Behm is joining me, and man, it's like I say, he's an alum coach. We'll get to it. He's going to join me. We got the championship coach here on Pitchfork Lunch, my friends. So yeah, you definitely want to jump on in on this because again, we got a lot to talk about, and yeah, not just winning, his journey. And I mean, a lot of you, if you didn't see his emergency press conference, was awesome. What he did last year on I think it was on IG or maybe even on Twitter, but either way, his emergency press conference again, but just an alum. And now the men back to back, or 3 in a row, I should say, conference championships. And I want to say that's right, 3 in a row for the men. I'll clarify that. I wrote down 3 in a row because I'm just excited. Again, I could be giving him an extra one. Wouldn't want to do that. They want to earn it, but we're Sun Devils. We can give him an extra one, right, guys? But so Herbie Behm will join us. But again, subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're watching live, cool. Watch live. Awesome. Phenomenal. Forks up to you. Glad you're there. But subscribe. All you have to do is go to, like I said, YouTube, M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Champ, 005, at MVC005 on YouTube, and subscribe. Also, you guys know that you can listen to the show every day. If you're out driving around, going to meet your friends for lunch, you want to catch up, you want to get in Sun Devil Nation, you can listen on the greatest internet radio station on the web, the Casual Sports Radio Network. Again, those watching, you can let your friends know. It's scrolling across the bottom of the screen, but all you have to do is go to www.ksrnaz.com. Page will open up. Click listen live, hit play, bam, Pitchfork Lunch, Monday through Friday, 12 to 1. We are rocking it. So That being said, yeah, we are completely rocking it. But yeah, it's awesome to be part of the Casual Sports Network family. And again, like, you're driving, and again, I want you to watch, but like I tell you every day, please don't watch and drive. Pay attention to the road. And go from pay attention to the road, but you can stream it through your Bluetooth. Again, www.ksrnaz.com. Stream it through your Bluetooth. You're driving, you're going to lunch, you're listening when you get to, meeting whoever you are for lunch on this today, Mike, what day is it? Hump day. Woo, woo. Yep, that's from Mama, her favorite commercial. But nonetheless, if you you can stream it, through your Bluetooth. You get to where you're going, you can still keep listening, and at the table, you're having lunch, you're listening, going all around Sun Devil Nation, or again, watch on the other avenues. So, and subscribe to the KSRN socials. Again, Casual E has you covered when it comes to the Diamondbacks, the Cardinals, the Suns, the Mercury. Yes, he has you covered all there. Subscribe to their socials, Sun Devil content there. Again, www.ksrnaz.com. So, yeah, I mean, that's it. Again, absolutely awesome. But yeah, so last night, again, Territorial Cup, we'll get to that. Again, we're going to talk to Coach Behm for a few minutes coming up here shortly. But you guys saw I was down in Tucson for round 2 of the Territorial Cup. Man, Alston Mason, have a game. Adam Miller, again, toughness, leadership, just competitor, dedication. Like, again, people say, you say that about all athletes, and yes, they are. But when it comes to injuries, try to give it a go. Was limited in practice 2 days ago, and then, like Coach Hurley said last night, try to give it a go, but lasted literally about 30 seconds. And yeah, that was just unable to go. And I didn't want to try and stay out there. Obviously, we don't want him to hurt himself more, but again, to be a liability to his team there. So that in and of itself, but it was, both teams scored over 100 points. It was 113 to 100. And yeah, it's been a minute since they both scored over both scored 100 points in a game. And yes, outside of maybe going to overtime, there's not a ton of college games. We see obviously 8 less minutes in an NBA game, and maybe they play a little more defense too. Who knows? But yeah, but Alston Mason, have a night, kid. Have a night. 33 points last night. Yeah, 113 to 100. The final, for those of you that, started watching at 9 p.m. and stayed up for, the whole thing. But look, the Devils 47 points in the first half, 53 in the second half. So it wasn't like, one great half and another half. But Alston Mason, real quick, 10 for 17. He was 10 for 17 from the field, 5 for 7 from 3, 8 for 8 from the line, 6 assists, 2 rebounds, 2 steals, no turnovers. Yeah, 33 points. Of course, he played all 40 minutes. Joe Sansanin finished with 19. Bashir Jihad, who unfortunately fouled out, he had 15. Sean Phillips Jr., who unfortunately fouled out, he had 14. Amir Ali had 13. So, yeah, it's, again, hell of an effort. They shot, 46% from the field, 52% from 3, 84% from the free throw line. Like, those are numbers all year long. And again, it's just, the team fought. Arizona just a little bigger and a little deeper. But yeah, it was, again, a hell of an effort. And, they got within 3. It was 89-86. And then Arizona went on a 7-0 run, 8-0 run. And 7-8. Yeah, 8-0 run before ASU's able to score again. And it's just, and then you get 2 players foul. You're already underman. No Jaden Quaintance, as we know. Adam Miller, tried to give it a go, but then Adam Miller out. And then Sean Phillips Jr., again, 2 of the fouls. We're not going to go down that road. So I mean, again, the fouls, and it just they both foul out, Sean Phillips Jr. So I mean, literally, you look at Bobby Hurley Jr., who played 6 minutes last night. Trevor Best, again, each game, you see it from him. He played 19 minutes, and he was 2 for 5 from the field. Both 3. It was 2 for 4 from 3. But yeah, I mean, he played 19 minutes. Amir Ali played 39. Like I said, Adam Miller played about 30 seconds, and that was about it. He started, try to see if he'd give it a go, but then Sean Phillips Jr. again getting in foul trouble, 25 points or 25 minutes for him. Bashir Jihad a little bit more, 32. He fouled out as well. But then, Josan Stanley said 39 minutes, and Austin Mason, the point guard, just playing all 40 minutes, guys. And again, I mean, look, Arizona is one of those teams where obviously, yes, they are they are big. And you look at when we look at Caleb Love played 37 minutes and he played the most, but I mean, nobody else, next highest after that was Jaden Bradley, one of the stars. He played 30. Toby Owako got a little bit of foul trouble. He had 4, but he played 20. Trey Townsend played, 12, and Anthony Delorso played 17 minutes. Henry Vassar played 23. KJ Lewis 29. Carter Bryant 24. But I mean, you look at it, and like I said, Caleb Love. Visar had 22 points, and then both Love and KJ Lewis had 21 apiece. And then you had Toby Owaka at 15 and Jaden Bradley at 12. So again, you got 5 in double figures there. ASU had 5 in double figures. I mean, you look at it, you're like, wow, 5 players in double figures. You're going to shoot 84% from the free throw line, 52% from 3, 46% from the field. And yeah, it just, again, it's one of those things that just so it's one of those things where I mean, look, Arizona again, and they shot 59% from the field, 43% from 3, and then 43% from 3. And then 80% from the free throw line. So yeah, I mean, technical fouls last night. Yes, coach did get one. And then the team got one. There was a bench warning, and then I don't know if it happened again, but yeah, so 2 techs for 2 techs for the Devils, 1 for the Cats. But I mean, yeah, it's just one of those things that's it's just one of those things that, again, when you look at it, not much more you could ask from a team, an underman team. I mean, it's and I mean, man, it just, and Jaden Quaintance and Coach Hurley, and hopefully get to hear from Coach Hurley and Joe Sansanin post game. But yeah, it's again, it's one of those things where, man, that's just tough. Sorry about that. I was talking, hit a wrong button. All right, so we're going to step aside real quick, though. When we get back, again, championship coach. This is so awesome. So stoked about this. We're going to step aside, and men's and women's swim and dive head coach, newly minted Big 12. I love it. First year in the Big 12 and champions. Yes, Arizona State. We are here. So we're going to step aside real quick. Guys, let your friends know. Get back here, and we're going to have Coach Behm on right after this here on Pitchfork Lunch.
KSRN has the inside track on all things sports, with topics and opinions from former players and local personalities. Catch 15-year NFL veteran Ed Smith and Jay Adams on Easy Sports Talk every Saturday.
Unfortunately, with this back and these knees, I don't quite have that ability, or at least I use.
Are you good?
For all things Arizona Cardinals, tune in Monday nights with Casual E and Sean Conn.
Bird gang, I know it's another tough loss, but keep encouraged. We miss you, BA.
And now you can exclusively listen to former Arizona Cardinal Jeremy Bridges on his show, JB and Benny Blue Review.
Exactly.
Don't be dumb.
Sending the message out to the world.
Always relaying that message. Don't be dumb.
Yes, your guy, Benny Blue, comedian extraordinaire.
Exclusively on KSRN, Casual Sports Radio Network.
This is the sound of a racing heart. It's beating a little faster because it belongs to a young child. But this child isn't in the middle of a close soccer game or playing with her puppy in the yard. Her heart is racing because she's just been told she has to move foster homes again. Change a child's story. There's a child waiting for a volunteer like you. Learn how you can help at casaforchildren.org.
Got a big painting project you've been putting off because you don't think you can afford it? Well, it's time to call the team at Customer First Solutions. Customer First is your one-stop shop for all home repairs, from full interior and exterior painting to handyman services, drywall repair, electrical, and plumbing. Customer First has the most competitive prices in the Valley. Your flat rate quote is based on the square footage of your home, and that includes wall repair. All Customer First technicians are licensed, bonded, and fully background checked for your assurance. Call or text Customer First Solutions at 480-877-0255 for your free quote. Customer First Solutions, where our customers and their homes are our first priority.
You are listening to the best internet radio station on the web, KSRN, Arizona.
Yes, for those listening on KSRN, you are listening to the best internet radio station on the web. Catch Pitchfork Lunch there every day, Monday through Friday, 12 to 1, along on the artist formerly known as on X, the artist formerly known as Twitter, and my IG, michael.carethino.5. So, like I promised you, this is awesome. We are getting to talk to a championship coach, but most importantly, and I hope he does appreciate this because I play this for all the alum coaches. All the coaches I love having them on, but all the coaches, they definitely get this intro because it's just a little bit more when you're an alum.
I'm from Arizona, Jerry. I Rod. I went to Arizona State. Rod. I'm a Sun Devil, man.
That is right. I am a Sun Devil. He is a Sun Devil. He's a championship coach. And, man, Coach, thanks so much again for jumping into Pitchfork Lunch. I mean, I know it was a very busy day. And again, I'm not calling you out or anything. So I'm so happy you're here, and Zach helped set this up. But I talked to you very, very briefly at the Olympian celebration.
Oh, yeah.
And I just introduced myself real quick before you sat down, because I was like, oh, man, I go, he's going to forget me because I'm forgettable, even though I'm an alum. That's fine. I'm not a champion here. But I go, so a lot to live up to. Well, and you just kind of had that smile and knowing what you had coming back. But, man, I mean, look, and first of all, my apologies, because I've been saying it all since the second season I started this in the fall. This is the first year since I've been at ASU that I have not got to come out, well, to at least two meets, but to a meet. But I showed a ton of your guys' highlights and talked all about you through the fall. And then I told everybody I was so stoked. Obviously, I got to see you at the Champions thing. But, man, I mean, I know there's more to do. But, man, your first year in a Big 12 championship, obviously first year in the Big 12, first year as head coach, a Sun Devil alum. Yeah. But like I said, being a Sun Devil, yes, championships mean a lot. And I know coaches are invested. But how awesome was this feeling up in Federal Way? I mean, with the men and the women getting their first too.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's the first time in ASU history that the men and women have won something the same time. And it's the first win the women have had since 1981. So it's really cool to see both teams competing at such a high level, because for whatever reason, it kind of goes back and forth, but to get them both there at the same time is very special.
Yeah, I looked at that. I was going to say to you, 1981. So obviously nobody on that women's team was alive. So
yeah,
they're definitely their own tradition.
Yeah.
I started the show off talking about, and I remember I played a bit of it last April because I loved your emergency press conference and just emotion and how much it meant to you. But and look, swimming, and when I was ASU, I had friends that swam, and like I said, I love going to the meets. But to work under, so you come back, you're working under Coach Behm. I mean, when Coach Behm came back in 2015, everybody's like, man, this is awesome. Like, okay, let's see where this goes, and we obviously see what it's built up to. But you obviously graduate from ASU. You're working and you're coaching swimming. You come back. When you first came back, though, I mean, working with Coach Behm, what was that like?
It was good. I mean, it was definitely like I came into it just like, okay, I'm not going to have any expectation, any ego, just try and learn as much as I can. And definitely, I mean, learned a ton from that. But yeah, it was awesome just to see kind of the day-to-day of how he ran things. And I mean, developed quite a bit under him and learned a ton. And now having that just long time to kind of see that, but also kind of develop my own way of doing things has been really fun. This first year, having the keys to the place has been a lot of fun.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's always definitely an added bonus, getting the keys. Now, obviously, last year, I mean, and the last few years, obviously, with what Leon did, I mean, yes, it's a team sport, but like golf, it's when I've talked to Coach Thurman. It's always that individual team sport. Like, you want to do good for your team, obviously, but needing to do good. But I mean, when you see somebody like Leon, obviously he's pushing, his teammates in practice, but and he's pushing himself. But man, how hard is that to be like, there's really not anything I have to say? Like, I know, again, there's always improvement, there's always coaching, but did you or Coach Behm ever kind of have those moments like, oh, wow, like, what am I supposed to say there?
Well, that's what I think is really fun. And that's something I feel like I've learned a lot of. It's like you're almost orchestrating an environment that allows people to flourish. And it's allowing people to flourish beyond what you necessarily think is capable. And if you have just like an insanely competitive environment, those guys are going to just will themselves to beat their teammates in practice. And then it just like the bar gets raised from there. So that's what I think we've done a really good job of here. And it's almost like doubling down on that now and just making it crazy, because like all of the top people we've seen, like Ilya and then our Leon last year and then Ilya this year, like the stuff in meets is impressive, but some of the stuff they do in practice is like even more impressive. so you get like a consistency to that, and then you go to the meets and you're just ready to go. So that's really the main thing that we can do. And it's great when you have talent like that, because us as coaches learn really what is possible.
Right. Okay. So before I get to like, obviously the women and the men, the team this year, I know you were part of the foursome that set the school record in the 400 medley. The one thing I did forget to check is, does your foursome still have that record in the 400 medley?
Oh no, they're like 15 or 16 seconds faster what they go now. Yeah, we're not even close. It's like not on the same.
I feel bad because I was like, yeah, that's right. I remember. Like I said, I mean, and obviously, like I said, I wasn't going to bug you. I was like a little kid at a candy store, because when Doug Tamro told me about when he sent the release out, I was like, am I allowed to go to that? Like, can I cover?
Yeah.
And I got to talk to some, and I was like, man, I'm like, this is like, there's a ton of obviously Sun Devil greatness, but Olympians, and to hear the stories. And but when you see, you're saying the 15, 16 seconds faster, like when I obviously people watch the Olympics, but even in just being a sports junkie and watching competitions, but when you see from afar, when you see somebody like Katie Ledecky in distance, almost like lapping, I mean, in a pool, like, look, running, not that it's easy to lap people, but longer distances, I've seen people do it. But in the pool, like when you see Katie Ledecky, I mean, just from afar, do something like that, and to show that, okay, I guess it is humanly and physically possible. And like to your point, like you said, teams are 15, 16 seconds faster. But when you see somebody like Katie Ledecky, outside of from a coaching standpoint and a swimmer, you're like, okay, I know, like, respect, but how hard is it, not to be in awe, but how is that physically freaking possible, Coach? Because I mean, that distance, she doesn't even look like she's tired when she gets out of the pool.
Yeah. I mean, that's just a lifetime of consistency, because it's like when you understand these people's training regimens, but also their dedication to it, to where Katie Ledecky and like all these top people, they've been doing this for like 15, 16 years now. And at like a high level every single day. That's the more unbelievable part. And it's one of those things, it's almost humanizing now that we've had a good amount of people, like not, kind of on that level, and seeing it is like, okay, these people they're not like doing the craziest things you can think of every day, but every day they're pretty good. And then they just keep raising the bar. And then after a while, it's like, man, these guys are unbeatable.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I said, I've always admired it, having friends that I grew up with that swam, and, me being like a novice swimmer, I actually just added it back again to like working out, just to do something different. And believe me, I have all the assists and the cheating, so I'm not trying to see if I have one more eligibility to help you out, Coach. I don't need you guys to get a good laugh, but yeah, it's good. It's great exercise. It's awesome. But looking at the meet, I mean, like I said, from when I was talking about this the other day, and again, having watched, and I was like, oh my gosh, I like keep seeing, I'm like, man, they're scoring a lot of points. I kept saying, I'm like, wow, that's really good. That's really good. And I'm like, I'm sure that they're saying that, but like, I mean, on the women's side, I mean, Caroline Bentz, a school record in the 50 free, Julia Ullman, a school record in the 100 fly. Bentz does it again in the 100 back. But I mean, when you look at what from the swimming side, what the women were able to do, and like you said, I mean, your schedule obviously from all season long, very challenging. But man, just. And then I know you went up against Texas, obviously. I talked a lot about that, seeing Coach Bowman again. But on that women's side, I mean, what were they like all season? And I mean, just growing into, obviously you saw, like you said, I mean, you see it in practice, but man, what was it like working with them? And I mean, to see those women set those school records in that big meet, what was that like?
It was, I mean, just incredible. Probably my favorite moment, maybe one of my favorite moments of coaching, was actually our very first race of the season against UNLV. First race, the women broke the school record in the 200 medley. So it was like, okay, we're we're doing something this year. And then they've just chipped away at it, and almost every time keep raising the bar. And that's something that I think psychologically for them was really big, of like, oh wow, we broke the school record. And then when it's just like, okay, we just have to go at best time, the record kind of just becomes a thing, rather than, I think they kind of built it up into something a little bigger. And now they're just realizing how good they are. And it's like, they're just raising the bar on that.
Yeah. And Utah, I'm so happy you said your schedule. You talk about UNLV and obviously, at Arizona, NAU, but I look at that stretch in October where number 12 UNC, and then, obviously old Pac-12 foes, Cal and Stanford, and, battling with them, but, coming up short, and then, going to NC State and finishing second. And then, like I said, with, Texas, Virginia, and NC State, like seeing those teams going through that, like, yeah, I mean, as coaches, you're always going to take away from that. But if you suffer losses, and I talked about on the show, I mean, there's a few, but you're suffering losses to really good teams. But what do they take from that, and how does that help them lead to a Big 12 championship?
I mean, it's learning that you can race with them, because I remember, again, we went to NC State as one of our first meets of the season, and they were, both men and women were like 5th last year. They're a really good team. And it was something we knew going in. We were like, the men were like 4 and 5. So we knew that was going to be really close. The women were, NC State was like number 5. We were like number 25. So it's like, okay, we can go over and just get rolled over. Or we can go in and like, just kind of see where we can be. And we won a couple relays, and it was back and forth. And we lost that meet, but that was like an eye-opening, like, hey, a year ago, we didn't think we were on the same planet as these guys. And now it's like seeing that and then continuing to raise the bar. And then when we went to the Eddie Reese showdown in Texas, where it was them, Virginia, who Gretchen Walsh had just broke 9 world records. And it's like, okay, we're going to race literally the best people in the world. If they can just be near them, it would be a win. So that's exactly what we did. And yeah, I think that led to where it was just normal racing by the time we got to Big 12s.
That is awesome. My sister's dog's excited for you too.
Yeah.
Make sure that Rigatoni knows that. No, and I've always said that, because in any sport, like I've always heard coaches say, like, if you're in off the bus, you can't give anybody, they used to say, like, what are you giving them, like a 10-point advantage? Like, why? Like, yes, there's respect, but there's like, when you see you can do it. I mean, I know it's from, obviously you haven't done it as a swimmer, but taking it to the point where, again, like you see the belief. And I mean, like I said, when I saw that schedule, because I said the same thing, I'm like, well, you got to do it. And I saw a text on the schedule. I do want to ask you this, though, before we get to the guys too, and diving in the guys too, is I love in your video how saying, because everybody thought that, and look, when head coaches go places, they're working with people, they take them with them. You're like, I am not going to the University of Texas.
Yeah,
I know it's been talked about. This isn't basically like this isn't a joke. I'm not just saying I'm the head coach and I'm going to pull a Bill Belichick from 1,000 years ago and sign a napkin to the Jets saying I resign. Yeah. But I mean, how tough was it not to go with them? Because obviously you've worked together, and I mean the success, and I mean, was it a thought? I mean, because again, for you to say it, obviously a lot of people were asking you.
Oh, that was never a thought. Pretty much, yeah. Like it was. I kind of wanted to feel like I'd been ready to kind of do my own thing. So worked out literally best possible way it could have played out. So yeah, it was. I wouldn't have really considered that.
Well, fair enough. And obviously the team and Sun Devil Nation, and, being a part of the fraternity, like I said, that's why I played that wonderful, beautiful intro from Jerry Maguire, because, for the alum coaches, like I said, I know it means to win a championship, to the work that everybody puts in, people understand that. But at the same time, like when you're an alum, I know it just means it's always coaches that I've talked to, not just ASU, but other schools have always said that. But when you look at on the men's side, swimming wise too, like, I mean, to have guys that, like Johnny sets 2 meet records in the 50 and when I saw the 1864 coach, I mean, like you were saying speed, I said to people, I go, hey, that's ridiculous. I go, that's literally like, I go, a mini jet ski on top of the water. I go, it's insane. But I mean, to see that, and I know you mentioned Ilya, and obviously the work that, that he's put in, the whole team's put in. But I mean, for Johnny to have 2 meet records like that, I know the women's 200 medley, I talked about that on Monday. It was just like, the NCAA cut times, and it's just like, the women's 400 medley, the men's 400 medley, the 800 free. But I mean, when you see that and teams like coming together like that, but what they're able to do individually, I mean, talk about obviously, the 400 medley with, Johnny and Ilya and that, and Dobrzansky and Vergnus. I hope I'm saying that right.
Yeah.
Apologize to him if I'm not, because my last name Caratenuto got killed. I try not to kill anybody's.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you see that, I mean, obviously the meet records, it's huge and people start seeing it, but man, from where they coming off, and you look, when you have a target on your back, because Pac-12 done or not, but back-to-back champions in the Pac-12, now you come into the Big 12 and people are like, okay, well, let's see what you can do. You have that target on your back, but for them to perform like that, like I said, you see the amazing things in practice, but man, just talk about them as like swimmers and what they've done. I mean, just as people too, because like you said, obviously it's a lot of dedication, work ethic, but man, when I saw Johnny hit 18, I was like, good God, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. It's something I think they like. I think the target is something they like having, and kind of being like walking into a place and having, you see the other team's heads, like everybody kind of looking at you. It's cool. And that's what we've been kind of under a magnifying glass this whole season. And trying to just live up to that each time has been pretty fun. So that's something that is really good on the men's side. And I think that's something that we'll get to on the women's side as well. Hopefully we can get to that same spot where they kind of are expected to be the favorites every time. Because that's something we worked really hard for. And now it's kind of learning to enjoy that rather than shy away from it.
And, speaking of shying away from it, as, a freshman, for Julia Ullman got the freshman of the meet.
Yeah.
And I mean, look, that's reward. I know awards are obviously always awesome when you get recognized. It's for what you did.
Yeah.
Two things to you as a coach, like Julia got that. And then I know that Caroline Benz got the women's swimmer of the meet.
Yeah.
And then same thing for Lucian. I mean, he gets the freshman of the meet, and Johnny gets the men's swimmer of the meet. But when getting awards like that, especially as you get older, I think coaches and, no matter what sport, they say, yeah, it's great and you keep working. But like when you're younger, you get an award like that as a freshman. Do you feel as a coach, it's, again, not that they're going to be, oh, I got this, I've arrived, I'm here, I'm not going to work as hard. But is it almost like harder with the younger athletes, even in this day and age, to be like, oh, yes, celebrate it, but you have to get to work? Because as a freshman, look, I'd be stoked. I would definitely celebrate it because I know how hard I worked.
Yeah.
But I guess there is a human nature to almost kind of maybe relax just a teeny bit.
Yeah. I think that's something that we do a good job of. And again, hope that's something that the kids have embodied, is kind of focusing on the process and how you improve, and like always raising the bar rather than being happy that the bar is high enough. So that's something that we're constantly preaching. And really all the people who won awards have pretty small egos. So I don't think they're going to be the people who will be flaunting it or anything like that. And with NCAAs around like 2 weeks for the women, 3 weeks for the men, it's everybody's kind of, okay, guys, we got to get back dialed in, get back to work. Like, let's move on from this. But for the most part, I mean, so proud of them to have won all the swimming awards. That's a pretty cool thing.
And you talk about that time off, and I'm so glad you brought that up, Coach, because I mean, obviously, yes, in swimming, you see something like that, like, just watching the Olympics and you see, oh, they have this, these prelims today, and then this, and then somebody might have, two separate stroke prelims. But what's how do you feel about the balance? Obviously, like, because I know, there's diving, and then the women's swim, and then the week after it's the men's. But getting that time off, yes, I mean, I know the easy part from a a recovery standpoint, just kind of getting right, still training. But is there kind of a piece of like you as a competitor that did it, that kind of like, yeah, I like a teeny bit of time off, but maybe for the guys, like, I don't want that much time off?
That's a pretty individualized thing. Like, I think it's good to have, I mean, for us, when we've been going nonstop for so long, having one day is like, oh, this is incredible. So yeah, and that's person by person, but we want to keep them fresh. And it's like trying to encourage them to like, hey, do something that's, enjoyable. It's not necessarily goal driven. So you're just keeping that balance to your life, because they're at a time in their lives where I don't think you really can be taking breaks or anything like that. But also, if you're just burning yourself out and forcing yourself to do something, it's not going to work either. So it's trying to balance that and getting I think the best thing we have is a community that's most kids enjoy coming to practice, and it's not like everybody's positive. So that part helps. I guess we're not having to yell at them to get in the pool or anything like that.
Yeah, like the like little kids getting out of bed dragging feet. Like, no, that's when and from the diving side, because again, I don't want to and I say from the diving side, because obviously, yes, the artistry of that, the precision that like you see, like just being off by, it's just crazy. Because when I watch, like, whether it's the Olympics or any competitions, and I hear like an analyst say, oh, they were they were just like, maybe like half an inch off. I'm like, how can you? I'm like, no way. And then you see the scores, and I'm like, well, yeah, see, because I'm like, I get this. But when you look at, like, obviously diving, and it is that precision. But what worked for them this year as a group? How did they push each other?
I think actually very similar to the swimmers, where it was like a community where they were all like invested in helping one another. It was cool to see their kind of culture shift to that as well. And I mean, we tried to include them in some more, because it's so different. Like swimming and diving, it's not remotely the same, but trying to have some of that where we come together and support them in that was cool to see. And yeah, it was just also like the team score being such a big thing. It was naturally encouraging, because then everybody's like, we want you to do well, even if they don't know what's going on. We're like, the better you do, the better our team does. So it kind of forces that support.
Yeah, I mean, and on the women's, I mean, to win by 450 points. I mean, that's kind of a whooping, coach. I mean, again, I'm not trying to get you to break your arm to pat your back, but I mean, over 400 points, 450 points. I mean, that's ultimate control from, I mean, literally dominance, I would say, from beginning to end.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, again, absolutely not really a question. That's like I said, when I see that, and like I said, having known swimmers, I appreciate it. All right, coach. So who have you seen? Who's the best prankster on the team? I mean, somebody's got to be playing, fun little pranks, nothing bad, but have you caught anybody, kind of playing a prank on somebody else? Because I know athletes might get superstitious, whether it be with, the way you put your cap on, or, certain things you wear to a meet.
Definitely the best prankster is Tommy Palmer by far. Okay. He's been messing with his roommate like every week. He makes like a new video where the first thing he blew up like 1,000 balloons and filled his room with balloons. And then most recently, he actually drilled a swing into his room. I think it's not gonna be as funny when they get the safety deposit back, but it's kind of funny. So yeah, he's definitely the best.
Okay. All right. So, and you know about these, so he shared them with you. It's like, we can't. They haven't. Now, he hasn't tried to do any to you, right?
No, he hasn't done any to me yet. Thank God. If I ever walk in and something's totally crazy, I know who did it though.
Yeah, it's funny because I always say coaches have great sense of humor, but in swimming, it's like, man, there could be a lot of extra laps you can be done at the end of practice for something like that. Yeah. Okay, so coach, looking ahead to, like I said, obviously the national, because that's back up in Federal Way too, right?
It is.
Right. Okay, yes. So again, not too bad of a trip. But I mean, looking forward to the championships. Obviously, again, a lot have qualified, and when you're there, but having that experience, obviously, with that last year, or actually, I should say the last 2 seasons. But when you're there and getting prep for this, as a coach, I mean, yes, the talent's there, but you always see athletes, again, you try and be relaxed, but come on, you're amped up, the adrenaline's going. What's the challenge in kind of keeping them like on that line of just kind of like calm, but not obviously too calm, because you want that like energy and that adrenaline there?
Yeah, it definitely goes up and down through the meet, and kind of depending on how they're going. We started out pretty good. And then the second day we did really good. And then the third morning, everybody was like, okay, we got this in the bag. So I had a meeting came in with a lot of, a lot of intensity to get them back to it. So you're almost like, matching the opposite end of what energy they have. Because sometimes, like I remember at NCAAs last year with the men, everybody was just like insanely tense. And that's when you got to be like, hey guys, everybody take a deep breath. It's going to be okay. Where at this meet, we were on the opposite and everybody was like too relaxed. So I had to get them a little less relaxed. But yeah, it's a day-to-day thing that you kind of have to be there and see how people are doing, and every individual is different. Where there was even at this meet some people who were freaking out. We had to like talk them down. Some people who need to be like, hey, look, you got to focus. This is big. So it's case dependent.
Yeah, like I said, each athlete's different, but yeah, I mean and when people, I get, we've always heard of, total, obviously coach speak, player speak. Well, oh, it's just another game. It's just another, like, you can say that to everybody else, but like, there's a few, I'm sure a few deer in headlights every now and then. And you just, obviously coaches remind them so what is, not giving away your playbook, because again, people are watching, I don't want to give it, but percent of what is, I mean, after obviously a long season like this, but what is kind of practice and training look like though, going into this?
Well, now it's been like Big 12 was a 5-day meet, so it was pretty long. So we've been going pretty easy for the last couple days, and we're kind of building back into it. Where tomorrow will actually be our first like fast day back, but now it kind of moves into either an easy day or a day where we're going really fast. So there's almost nothing in between that. So it's just trying to pick and choose kind of when we go fast, but make sure that's really good and then recover until the next time. So it's just being deliberate with that and not overdoing anything.
Right. And again, it's like I said, a sport, and I love it. When I hear swimming going easy, I was like, it's never truly going too easy, but yes, I know, the recovery's there. And like I said, being an alumni coach, like it's you. And then obviously Coach Thurman in golf. And then I've talked to Coach Party in water polo. So obviously you guys share a facility. Coach Dillingham, Coach Bloomquist, Coach Powers with hockey. I had Coach Missy Farquet on. I've talked to Coach Zeke Jones on, and obviously with Coach Briggs. So being a part, I know I talked about being a part of that fraternity. I mean, when you see these other coaches, I mean, obviously, Coach, you might reach out, but I mean, how cool is that when you see him? And obviously, like I said, sharing the facility with Coach Party. I talked to her last season, and again, I can't wait to get out to more water polo this year. But I mean, when you're in that fraternity, that group, what's that like? How fun is that?
Oh, it's awesome, because I was at school the same time as Coach Party. So we've kind of shared some of that and kind of like reminisce on the good old days. But yeah, it's definitely a ton of fun.
And when you see, okay, so this year, I mean, going in the Big 12, obviously, getting a new athletic director. I mean, Graham Rossini's done a phenomenal job, gets hired, and I mean, basically right before the in May, and April, May, when I remember seeing him out at the baseball, Pac-12 tournament. But when you see the success of volleyball, obviously they had success last year in the Pac-12, but they come in, for the first year, Big 12 champs, going back to the tournament. Football obviously wins the Big 12 championship. When other sports are doing that, though, yes, I know you're focused on yours, and the season is long, but how electric is it just, for you guys, even around your facility, campus and stuff like that, just seeing about what the other sports are doing? And then how much do you feel that pushes your athletes?
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, we watched the ASU game against Texas here, and just having everybody like crazy fired up. It was super fun. So yeah, it's awesome. It's just, super encouraging and really exciting to see where the entire department's going.
Yeah. Again, it's winning is contagious, but now to have, first year in a new conference, 4, and of course 2 of them, the men and women's swim team. Coach, man, look, thanks so much for jumping on. Again, thanks for indulging me for a few minutes at the Olympic champions lunch. And I didn't want to bug you, but I was just like, it's really great to meet you. And I was like I'm a Sun Devil alum, be it a broadcasting major, covering sports. I'm still a little kid at a candy store when I get around events like that. Cause again, appreciating, like you said, appreciating the now, but appreciating the history. And like where it came from. But hey, thanks for jumping into Pitchfork Lunch. I promise next year, because my streak is broken from, like I said, when I was in school at ASU, it's the first year in eons that I have not been to a swim meet. But yes, I again talked a lot about what you guys were doing and stoked. And oh man, just again watching Big 12s, I'm like yelling at my phone, which I know you can't hear me, but it was awesome. But hey, thanks for jumping into Pitchfork Lunch. I appreciate it. And yeah, let's go get them at Nationals.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you.
That is so awesome. That is head coach Herbie Behm of the men's and women's swim and dive. That's just, again, phenomenal. And again, there are a ton that goes into it, practice and dive. And yes, there's probably a little more I could have got to, Pitchfork Lunchers. But yeah, we were up against it a little bit longer than I thought. But I'm going to take one last quick break, reset, take a breath, and we'll wrap up Pitchfork Lunch right after.
KSRN has an inside track on all things sports, with topics and opinions from former players and local personalities. Catch 15-year NFL veteran Ed Smith and Jay Adams on Easy Sports Talk every Saturday.
Unfortunately, with this back and these knees, I don't quite have that ability, or at least I use Ayukin.
For all things Arizona Cardinals, tune in Monday nights with Casual E and Sean McConnell.
Bird gang, I know it's another tough loss, but keep encouraged. We miss you, BA.
And now you can exclusively listen to former Arizona Cardinal Jeremy Bridges on his show, JB and Benny Blue Review.
Exactly.
Don't be dumb.
Sending a message out to the world.
Always laying that message. Don't be dumb.
Yes, your guy, Benny Blue, comedian extraordinaire.
Exclusively on KSRN, Casual Sports Radio Network.
This is the sound of a racing heart. It's beating a little faster because it belongs to a young child. But this child isn't in the middle of a close soccer game or playing with her puppy in the yard. Her heart is racing because she's just been told she has to move foster homes again. Change a child's story. There's a child waiting for a volunteer like you. Learn how you can help at casaforchildren.org.
You are listening to the best internet radio station on the web, KSRN, Arizona.
Yes, those listening on KSRN, you are listening to the best internet radio station on the web. I am Michael Carrington at Diablo00 on X, arts formerly known as the Twitter. Again, huge shout out, big forks up to Sun Devil men's and women's swim and dive head coach Herbie Behm. And man, again, just absolutely awesome to get him on Big 12 championships. And again, I'm transparent with you guys. I did not, and you know it because I said it a few times, just did not get out to a swim meet. And I was bummed. And again, their schedule, yes, they had quite a few on the road. But yes, again, awesome to have them on. And by the way, shout out to Zach for helping hook that up. We will here on Pitchfork Lunch have some of the swimmers and divers, and I'm going to go out there and do it so we can get quite a few of them on, because again, it's again, it is a village and it is awesome. Coach Behm, phenomenal job. Forks up for him coming to join us. But yes, and again, anything you missed, you can go to the YouTube channel. It's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Champ 005 at MVC005 on YouTube, and subscribe. Real quick before we get out of here, I want to wrap it up. Lacrosse, awesome. They have now won 2 in a row. They beat St. Joe's Saturday. I gave you guys a lot of updates on that, but 13-12. And then Mercer, they beat Mercer yesterday, 16-10. Phenomenal. And then their next match is this Saturday at 11 a.m. They take on Vanderbilt at Lacrosse Stadium, and then they have a week off. And Friday, Mercer is going to be taking on UC Davis at noon. So I'm guessing they're staying here. Oh, UC Davis coming over here. Mercer. Oh, they're playing it. Yeah. Anyway, nonetheless, they take on Vanderbilt Saturday at 11 a.m. Show. Yes, you can get out to Sun Devil Soccer Lacrosse Stadium. It is mental health awareness game. But yes, 16-10. last night or yesterday afternoon, evening, I guess you could say. So Tegan Eng had 3 goals. But yeah, it was a hell of an effort. Obviously, 16-10, they control it, they get the win. Over Mercer. That's not even hard to say. But yeah, T and Ang 3 goals, and ASU scored the first 4 before Mercer even got on the board. So again, hell of a start. They are now, like I said, they are now 5-2. Pardon me, giving them an extra win, but 5-2. 3-0 at home, defending the home field. Love to see that. So that part again, very, 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 very awesome. And also, yeah, they have Vanderbilt, like I said, coming up on Saturday at 11 a.m. And then, baseball last night, by the way, this is awesome. They won last night. They beat, UNLV, as they get ready to take on Gonzaga this weekend. But 9-4 right now, 8-3 at home. Love to see that. 1-1 away. And that was a split with the Bruins. But yes, they beat UNLV last night 7-0. Shutout. And Kian Vu had a heck of a game. But yeah, they get the shutout. They get the shutout of UNLV, but Kian Vu homered in the 3rd to right center. Kian Vu homered in the 5th to left center. And Brandon Compton, Hulk smash, he homered to right field, also in the 5th. And then New Contratus, he scored on a wild pitch in the 6th. Kian Vu had a sacrifice fly in the 8th. And then Matt King singled to score Braden Briggs. And that made it 7-0. But yeah, I mean, you look at Kian Vu last night, 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs, 3 runs scored. Matt King was 1 for 5 with an RBI. Brandon Compton, 2 for 4, 1 RBI, 1 run. Did draw a walk. Jacob Tobias, 2 for 3 with an RBI. Isaiah Jackson, 1 for 4. New Contratus was 1 for 3 with a walk. Landon Harrison, man, 2 for 4 yesterday. Also scored a run. Brody Briggs, like I said, 1 for 3, scored a run. And I know Beckett Zavorek, they got to check on him today. Coach Bloomquist talked about it. He got banged up yesterday. But yeah, Kian Vu, 2 home runs. Brandon Compton with 1. 7-0 over UNLV. Jonah Giblin got the win, by the way. Let's see. Yeah, Max, it was a bullpen game, but Max Arlick went 2 innings, gave up 2 hits. Again, no runs, none earned, 2 Ks and 2 walks. Jonah Giblin, though, came in, went 3 innings, just gave up 1 hit, no runs, 4 Ks to just 1 walk. He threw 48 pitches. Arlick threw 51. And then Cole Carlone came in for 2 innings, 4 Ks, just 1 walk for him, gave up 1 hit, 43 pitches. Lucas Kelly, an inning, gave up 1 hit, but 2 Ks, 1 walk, 19 pitches. And then Derek Schaefer just threw 6 pitches, no runs, no hits, 1 strikeout, no walks. And there it is. The Devils, 13 strikeouts this last game. Again, absolutely just phenomenal, man. Forks up to that. So lacrosse and and baseball get the win. So that's going to do it for me. I'm going to get out of here. Again, a huge shout out to swim and dive coach of the newly minted Big 12 champions, men's and women's swim and dive, Herbie Behm, for joining me. Forks Up. Thank you so much, Coach. Greatly appreciate it. Again, now part of the Pitchfork Lunch family. Again, gotta love it. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. So I'll see you tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. Again, anybody want to send me messages? Today is the greatest day of March. Feel free to shoot a message. No worries, you know, or gifts, whatever works for you. But I will see you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel, and hashtag our state. Thanks to Big 12 Champs Women's Volleyball for always reminding me of that. And you guys know it. As always, forks up.
I went to Arizona State. Right. I'm a Sun Devil, man.
The 27-yard line. That's a great call, too. Playing Baker. Funnel will put it up. Throws over the middle. Touchdown. Great play.
That's a way. Trying to center off with Eckerly, and he just missed the net. O'Reilly with the shot. Far down. He scores.